Welcome back to New Rockstars. It's me, Tommy B, and Bad Batch just wrapped up Season 2, leaving us with way more questions than answers. Not exactly the hopeful ending we all wished for, unless you enjoy death and despair. Yikes, I guess it's just a bad boy breaking down Bad Batch, feeling bad feelings about all the bad things that happened in that batch that has been baked. Things are looking dicey for Clone Force 99, but perhaps not all hope is lost. Before we get to the two-part finale, we have to talk about episode 14, Tipping Point, and boy was it. We are now on a collision course between the Bad Batch and the Empire. Things are looking down for the clones as we see a few disobedient clones being put aboard a prison transport by stormtroopers at an Imperial base on Balmorra. This is another location that had previously existed in Legends timeline in both books and the High Republic video game. It's now canon. It's canon, baby. We brought it back. There is still a clone commando working with the troopers, so it seems as though those clones are still on board with the Empire's plans. Why could that be, I wonder? Captain Rex and Echo are able to rescue the captured clones by docking onto the ship. The officer on board uses his electro-suicide pill to off himself, same way the clone assassin did earlier in the season. Echo is able to extract some of the plans from the ship, but a Star Destroyer shows up and they have to flee. We get an awesome base-filled teaser of the Imperial March before Captain Rex and Co. speed away. With a partial upload of the plans, Echo is going to need someone with genius-level skill and technology, a tech clone, if you will, but who could that be? Anyway, Crosshair remains a prisoner on Tantus under the evil eye of Dr. Hemlock. Shout out Jimmy Simpson, doing some great evil voice work this season. Crosshair immediately sniffs out Hemlock's plan to capture Omega and refuses to cooperate. This allows for the return of my least favorite robot, the interrogation torture droid. You remember that fun little guy from New Hope, right? Don't like him. Rex and Co. head to a base on the outskirts of Coruscant to meet up with Chuchi, the senator who is fighting to make sure clones get paid their veteran benefits upon retirement. The Jon Stewart of senators, making sure those vets get taken care of. We head back to Tantus where Crosshair plays possum after being interrogated, then steals a gun and dispatches the troopers. He does set his gun to stun when he takes out the doctor who showed mercy on him by shutting off the torture droid. Crosshair makes it to a control room and is able to send out a distress message where he's trapped in there as gas begins to flow in. The toxin is a special homebrew Hemlock made himself, and he goes full Dread Pirate Roberts by also making himself immune to it, as you wish. One moment I really loved in this episode was a great callback to Tech's racing abilities, showcased in the speeder races in episode 4, Faster. Episode 14 shows us Tech is teaching Omega how to fly and asks her to execute a difficult maneuver she excitedly calls the Tech Turn. Do the Tech Turn. The Tech Turn. You know you got skills when they're naming moves after you. It seems the Bad Batch have decided to stay on Pabu, which means that everyone there will soon be dead. That's just the way things work, guys. When the good guys say they're hanging out, the townspeople get killed. We get some nice background details of Twi'leks and Rhodians helping to rebuild the town, and one person who is really loving life on Pabu is Rekka. He's fishing, making friends, presumably eating a lot. Things are good for him. The only thing that could possibly be better is a reunion. That's right, Echo's back, baby, which is good because Hemlock is gearing to meet up with Governor Tarkin, who we know is Grandma from A New Hope and Rogue One. Hemlock is suggesting Tarkin send all the clones to him so he can experiment on them. Big time Nazi scientist vibes, and I gotta say, I think I hate this guy. The Bad Batch receives Crosshair's transmission, and though they aren't sure if it's a trap or not, as he trapped them in season 1, they decide to try to rescue him. This is very convenient for Dr. Hemlock. However, Hemlock seems to be overlooking the fact that the only clone Crosshair might even care a little about is Omega. So here we go. Things are percolating for the final stretch. Speaking of stretch, our merch partners at nerdriot.shop have some great new Mandalorian-inspired items in their new The Way collection, including the Foundling shirt and this shirt called the Bounty Hunter, with designs inspired by the Beskar steel of the Mandalore. Now, if you purchase one of these shirts, you can opt to unlock a shout-out on the show. We'll say anything. Eric and I will tell your girlfriend you want to propose. You can tell your husband you're pregnant. Whatever you need, we will shout it out. Visit nerdriot.shop to grab one of these great designs, and don't take it off until the finale next month. I don't care how much you stink. I want to smell it. The final two episodes, The Summit and Plan 99, bring an exciting conclusion to Season 2 of The Bad Batch. Echo and Tech have spent the evening trying to gather intel on the Advanced Sciences program headed by Dr. Hemlock. They have yet to find out where he is based, although us viewers know it's Mount Tantus on the planet Wayland. Tech refers to Dr. Hemlock as a ghost with little to no information known about him. However, one of the clones working with Echo and Rex has given Echo the intel that Hemlock is set to attend a summit at Tarkin's compound on Iriadu. The team hatches a plan to go to the summit and capture Hemlock and rescue Crosshair. Fee stops Tech and gives him a flirty line.
So, you were just going to leave without saying goodbye?
That is correct.
Tech completely misses it, a further nod to his possible neurodivergence and also his lack of reading people's emotions, really paying that off. Sometimes when you love a show or a movie, it's not enough to have seen it. You need some merch to commemorate the occasion, and Nerd Riot's got you covered, baby. If the finale of The Last of Us left you hungry for more, pick up a Lunch of Us tee, available in cream or black, featuring the logo of Todd's Steakhouse from episode 8 of the series. Don't eat there though, just don't do that. Unless you're a cannibal. If you're stoked for the upcoming John Wick movie, Nerd Riot has a whole line of John Wick shirts to make you feel like you've got a seat at the high table. There's the Baba Yaga tee, my personal favorite, a Gunchucks tee, a tee for the high table itself proclaiming, "I have served, I will be of service." Get them all now and you can wear them opening night. And then you can wear them again the next weekend when you see John Wick Chapter 4 for a second time. And of course, if you're obsessing over The Mandalorian right now, there's a whole line of Mando merch in the Way collection with tees, beanies, hats, even stuff for the kids. There's a lot of new fun, exciting merch coming up, and I can't give away too much, but let's just say it's Barbie's world. We're just living in it. To get your hands on the merch you need, head to nerdriot.shop today. Join the riot over at nerdriot.shop. The Marauder heads to Eriadu, as does Dr. Hemlock's Star Destroyer. Tarkin's compound is manned mostly by stormtroopers from the new conscripted army, further showing that the high-ranking Imperial officers are more weary of the clones and trying to move away from them. Hemlock is escorted to the meeting room where Tarkin is waiting with other Imperial bigwigs, including Orson Krennic, Ben Mendelsohn's character from Rogue One. The Marauder finds a safe place to land and is able to bypass the Imperial cruisers because Echo has a clearance code given to him from one of his contacts on the inside. It's clear now that Rex and Echo have built a sizable network of clones, both inside and outside the Empire, that allow them to access almost any point in the galaxy without being hassled. They can go undetected if they hitch a ride on the cable rail system that leads right into the compound. Tech is able to disrupt the system, and the Bad Batch are in. Hemlock is explaining how things are going with his cloning research. He says his work is of great importance to the Emperor. Now, we know all these Disney Plus shows are trying to fill the gaps and provide an answer to the somehow Palpatine returned quote poor Poe Dameron had to say in The Rise of Skywalker. Reactions at the table are mixed to Hemlock's plan. Some of the men think that just using the clones as lab rats is a little in poor taste. The meeting turns when Tarkin asks Krennic about Project Stardust, and if your mind saber just ignited, it's because that is the name of the project that created the Death Star. It's all connected, baby. Whoosh. Omega, showing more of her hold-her-ownness that she's obtained this season, places a tracking beacon on Hemlock's Lambda shuttle. She is almost busted by a mouse droid, but Wrecker manages to squish her with his foot. Stupid mouse droids, all they do is tattle on people, or at least try to, before they get a big size 15, squishing them down. Hunter and Tech discover thermal explosives and also discover they're not alone, as Saw Gerrera is also there, attempting to blow up the compound. It's a Rogue One reunion, baby! The Batch has to hustle out of there and hops back on the rail train and are mid-escape when the explosion rocks everything and takes out the power, which leads us to our finale. The finale begins with the Bad Batch train car in a standoff with another car filled with stormtroopers. Tech goes to restore power to the car and is rewarded with a squad of V-Wings, leaving him hanging by his tether. In the most heartbreaking moment of the season, Tech sacrifices himself, allowing the rest of the Bad Batch to fly down the track and crash into a nearby field. R.I.P. Tech? I think so. We didn't see a body. Later in the episode, Hemlock hands his goggles over to Hunter. God, I don't want Tech to be dead, but it does not look good. The surviving Bad Batch are able to flee to Ord Mantell to get help from AZI-3, the medical droid from last season. Hunter has to break the devastating news to Omega that Tech is gone. She's inconsolable, obviously. On Ord Mantell, the gang gets the medical attention they need, but at a price as Sid finally sells them out. This moment has been building all season. I've said in almost every episode, Sid is about to sell these fools out, so I guess I'm vindicated, but at what cost? It doesn't feel good. Hemlock arrives and is able to capture Hunter and Wrecker, but Omega tries to save them and is instead captured herself. Hunter and Wrecker meet up with Echo. They escape to the Marauder, but they cannot track Hemlock's ship. The final scene on Tantus, Omega is reunited with Nala Se and also discovers that Crosshair is still alive. The female doctor, working with Hemlock, questions Omega on why she trusts Nala Se but not her. She then reveals to Omega that she is her sister. So what does it all mean? Is this connected to this season of The Mandalorian? Is Elliot Kane also a sister? So many questions. Well, we are gonna have to just wait and see. That's all for now. Follow me at Tommy Bechtold, follow New Rockstars and our sister station at The Deep Dive. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And until next season, keep it Gucci to Moochie.